Welcome to the 1%er podcast. My name's Ed Jaffa. I'm joined by an amazing guest today. He is an author of 3 best-selling books, Unstoppable, The Perfect Day Formula, and The Perfect Week Formula, all 3 of which I have read and can highly recommend. He is also known as the mentor to millionaires. He's been featured in publications such as Forbes, Maxim, GQ, and Men's Health. And for over 20 years, Craig has transformed the lives of over 7 million people through his coaching, mentoring, and advice. He has helped people reach their goals physically, mentally, and financially, ladies and gents. And he's also known as the world's most disciplined man. I can't forget that one. Ladies and gents, please welcome Mr. Craig Ballantyne to the 1%ers podcast. Hey, Craig.
How you doing, Ed? Thank you so much for that nice introduction.
No worries, no worries. Thanks for joining me, Craig. I know you're, as we said, you're the world's most disciplined man. You're very selective at who you spend your time with. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to join me on the podcast today.
Absolutely.
My first question is, the world's most disciplined man. Where did you get the title from? Who gave you the title of world's most disciplined man? And why are you known as the world's most disciplined man?
Yeah, it's a great question. And actually, so it started really from becoming the most productive person that so many of my business friends knew. They saw me running multiple businesses and creating content for multiple. They're like, man, you're the most productive person I know. And then, I don't know, somebody took it to the next level and said, well, in order to be disciplined, then you have, or in order to be productive, you have to be disciplined. And so they started saying that and so on and so forth. And so it was really very productive based on the systems that I built, because I don't sit there and, do cold showers to build my discipline. It's no, I just remove temptations. And because I remove temptations, I'm left with nothing but the ability to do the work. And so I did the work and became super productive. And that's how the rumors started to spread.
Amazing. Have you always been super productive?
I've always wanted to be, but I wasn't always. And so the thing that people need to understand is that you can go from wherever you are now to becoming more productive, especially because we all want to be high performers. And so I did have a lot of anxiety that held me back in life. And I did have, binge drinking problem, and I wasted time, and I checked the email first thing in the morning and all that sort of stuff, all those things that needed to stop in order for me to be successful. And I was able to overcome them.
Cool. What I really like about yourself, Craig, is you started out as a personal trainer. I can really resonate from your story as a personal trainer. A couple of years ago, I was in this position where I was working as a personal trainer. Doing as we do the early mornings, we do the late finishes. It's a long day. I was doing okay. I was pretty successful, but the time, I was working a lot of hours. Didn't really have much time to myself. I'm a dad now of 2 boys, and something had to change. How did you break free of the shackles of, being a one-to-one personal trainer to get into where you are today? What was the turning point?
Well, first of all, it starts with the vision, right? You have to know where you want to get to. Otherwise, you might bounce around from one thing to another, and you might never be able to put all of your effort into something. And so I knew that I wanted to get to the place where I wasn't doing the one-on-one. I had more freedom of my time and more freedom financially. And I looked around for the opportunities, and I discovered that my opportunity was going to come through online business. And I put all of my free time into building that online business. I wasn't also trying to do real estate, and I wasn't also trying to have a network marketing company, and I wasn't trying to do this. And it was just one thing. And I saw the potential, and I knew that it was a viable path, and I sought out experts. And, it didn't happen overnight, but it did happen pretty darn quickly, even though I was only spending some days 15 minutes on it. But 15 minutes over and over and over and over and over again, man, it just adds up to freedom.
15 minutes over and over and over. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot of time, but.
No, but 15 minutes, 6 days a week is 72 hours in a year. And so you can, 6 days a week, that's 90 minutes a week. No, 90 minutes. You take a look at somebody who's like, I need half a day off to work on my side project, and they don't do anything in a week. Well, 15 minutes a day it's very much like, you know, for personal training clients, everybody thought, oh my goodness, you gotta do an hour of cardio and then 30 minutes of lifting. No, you don't. In 10 minutes, I can give you an absolutely incredible workout. And that's, you know, the expertise. And so it's the same with in 10 minutes, in 15 minutes, an expert who has decent typing skills can write out 500 words. 500 words in 15 minutes. Now, if you do that 6 days a week, that's 3,000 words. In 10 weeks, you have a 30,000 word mini book. In 10 weeks, 15 minutes at a time.
Simple maths, isn't it, really? That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just consistency over time. Like almost anything is generally associated with consistency over time.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you wrote a book, The Perfect Day Formula, and your most recent book, The Perfect Week Formula. What inspired you to write The Perfect Week Formula when you'd already written The Perfect Day? What's the main difference?
Well, we certainly realized we wrote the wrong book, and we wrote a book that brought on 150 questions. Well, what about this? And what about that? And what about this? And what about that? And then we had all these questions, and I did a presentation 75 times at my events called The Perfect Week Formula for CEOs and stuff like that. And we just really had it down into a really, really, really succinct message. And then we just put a lot of stories into it of client success and all that sort of thing. And then I worked with not a ghostwriter, but guy on my team. And, you know, he wrote the book. And it's probably, honestly, it's a better book than The Perfect Day Formula. Perfect Day Formula is really about the morning and about your habits, but The Perfect Week Formula pulls it all together. Now, you do need to read both of them, but I almost always tell people to start with The Perfect Week Formula.
Yeah. And what's interesting as well in the book, like when you talk about a perfect week, when you're building out your perfect week, you talk about, like, the first thing you put in there is date night. Then you start putting in other routines, like if you want to get a massage, put in a massage, put in your workouts.
Yeah.
So basically building your business around your life, and then whatever's left is basically work time, which is a hard thing to get your head around for a lot of entrepreneurs. I mean, I've certainly been guilty myself of feeling guilty of doing stuff that is anything that's not work related. I've felt guilty of not feeling productive and feel like I should be working. So it's how do you break out of that mindset? And I think you say in the book as well, like, you're going to feel uncomfortable doing this at first. So like,
well, yeah, I mean, so if you understand, like, you know, you have two kids. When you have a child, it forces you to become better with your time. Like, you know, you have to give up football, you have to give up Thursday night trivia night or whatever it is. Like, you just have to go like, okay, that was fun. I've been doing it for 10 years. I just can't keep on doing it if I want the life that I really want to achieve. And, you know, for some people, like, you might have to give up reading books for the first year of having your child, because the child is far more important. And so you just prioritize. And it's the same as when now you got a couple of kids in a business. Well, listen, you got to take care of those kids. And there's a lot of stuff in your business that, first of all, you should not be doing. It's someone else's job. You need to delegate. And delegation in this day and age, you know, it's a website away. It's super easy. And then there's also stuff that you're doing in your day-to-day that nobody should be doing. And whether that's scrolling social media mindlessly, like, everybody's doing that. No matter how busy they say they are, everybody's doing some of that. And so we are able to keep on going and do that sort of thing. And then it's also like, it just forces you to become better and then match the most difficult task with your most energetic time of day. Then that's what you're able to do. And all of a sudden you're getting more done in less time, and your business is more successful than when you didn't have a kid.
Yeah. To be honest, I found that as well. I was always worried, like, before I had kids, I need to work hard now because when I get kids, things are going to change. But I think now I have got kids, I'm just as successful, if not more. I've certainly grown from where I was pre-kids. So it just goes to show that, you know, having kids is no excuse. It just forces you to be more resourceful with your time. And what are some of you talk a lot about non-negotiables in the books, in both of the books. What are some of your favorite non-negotiables that you like to schedule into your week?
Well, certainly it's, shutting the phone off at 6 o'clock every night. That's very important to me because even when you have the phone in the same room as you or on the table and you're saying, oh, well, I'm not checking it, but it mentally distracts everybody. So shutting the phone off is very important. And then writing for an hour and a half in the morning, because that's super important to my business and to my success and to my future books. If I didn't write first thing in the morning, then I wouldn't get done at any other time. So there's that type of stuff. The exercise, I got to exercise, work out with weights 3 times per week. And I have to walk on those days when I'm not working out. Like I have to have my exercise. And then obviously I have to take the dog out and, that's, those are most of the things there. Actually, one on the nutrition side is I have to have spinach at lunchtime every day. So whether that's in a green smoothie or whether that's, meat, rice, and spinach, whatever it is, it's just my healthy thing. I have to get my greens every single day. And yeah, I do take some shakes and stuff like that, but I prefer to eat real food. So, that's one of my nutrition things. And then getting to bed before 8 o'clock. I know that's super early to some people, but getting to bed at 8 o'clock, and I don't use an alarm anymore, but I get up around 4 o'clock in the morning wow. Because I love the morning. I love morning time.
Yeah. Amazing. And you talk a lot about, I've seen in some of your videos, like you talk about wanting a 6-figure or 7-figure business, but you live in a 5-figure lifestyle. We see a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, they work themselves into the ground. It's at the expense of their physical health, their mental health. As well as I do, we're both coming from a fitness background, how important that, healthy lifestyle is to a high level entrepreneur. How do you convey that message across to someone who is maybe starting out? They are working a lot of hours. They're not quite as disciplined with their health and fitness. How do you teach the importance of looking after your own well-being?
Well, I think a lot of people have to experience it the hard way. It's like you can tell someone to stop drinking, but I mean, telling someone to stop drinking only makes most people go and drink more, Yeah. And so they just have to hit the rock bottom. And once somebody hits the rock bottom and starts to look for answers, the old saying is, don't try and preach to people that are unconverted. Go and preach to the converted. They're the ones that want to hear the message. So when somebody, I don't try and force my stuff on anybody. It's like, but when you are ready for help, I am here. And so that's the most important thing is I just can't stop somebody from doing the wrong things. Almost all cases, they have to be in the emergency room at 2 o'clock on a Saturday night before they finally go, okay, something's got to change. And I've heard those messages from tons and tons of people. And we go and, I've written my books about it as well. And it at least shows people that this is where the path is going to lead you. But even then, you can't sell prevention. You can only sell the cure.
Yeah. And that's something you experienced as well, right? In the book Unstoppable, you talk about these anxiety attacks, which were quite severe, which you literally described that you felt like you was going to die. Tell us a little bit about that experience. I guess that was a major turning point for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you have this pounding heart rate and the tingling, and you're like, these are all the signs of a heart attack. And so when and I had an exercise physiology degree, and I've been in several advanced cardio rehab programs, in college, like, helping people recover from heart attacks. And I've actually sat in on a open heart surgery and all this stuff. And I, been drilled into me. This is what a heart attack feels like. This is what someone experiences. And I experienced it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for nearly 6 weeks. And, I was going through and, trying everything such as yoga and meditation and all of these things. But, that when you can't sleep, when you can't think, when you can't concentrate, because of these symptoms. And you don't want to go and exercise because you're like, if I exercise, it'll just make it worse. Like, it is very debilitating. And I wouldn't wish that feeling on anybody, because you sit there and you go, I would do anything to get this feeling to go away, which is why I did the yoga, meditation, Qigong, Tai Chi, all of those things. I didn't enjoy any of them at the time, but I learned how to breathe properly, which was a huge turning point for me. And then I was able to focus on my business again and start doing so much good stuff, and finally got back on track. But it was a rough 6 weeks.
Yeah. Cool. What's some of the things you're working on now, Craig? What are you working on?
I've got this new app called Winning Streak, and what we do is we white label it with coaches, with sales teams, with CEOs, and they are able to hold their teams and their clients accountable automatically, just by help them set up a series of questions. It goes out at a certain time every day to the end user. The end user is then able to reply back and see, like, oh, I'm on track. Like, hey, did you do these 5 most important things today? Yes, you did. Great. You're going to be more successful. If you didn't, why didn't you do them? And then there can be back and forth around, like, oh, I noticed you're struggling with doing this activity, and so on and so forth. And so we're really getting into solar sales and sales teams, and a lot of coaching, fitness coaches and nutrition coaches as well, who have hundreds of clients, but they can't check in with them all individually every single day, but the app does it for it. So it's called Winning Streak. And if anybody wants to check it out as the end user, they can go and download it from the Android store, the App Store. It's free for anybody to download, but you'll need a program code in order to go through and use it. And so I set up a program for my morning routine course that will be helpful to anybody, even if they don't have my course. And they just have to enter the code V as in Victor, F as in Frank. I think it's, hold on, let me see what it is. VFXGL2, I think. But I don't want to get that wrong, because it really is neat and very, very helpful for someone to go through, because the questions just show up. It's V as in Victor, X is in X-ray, F is in Frank, L is in Larry, and G is in great, and then the number 2. So VXFLG2. If you use that code, once you download the Winning Streak app for free, these 5 questions will show up at the same time every day for the next 21 days and will help you improve your morning routine. So everyone try that, and you can see how it works. And if you think like, oh, I could see how I could use this in my business to help my clients or my sales team, then they can just send me a message on Instagram at Real Craig Ballantyne.
Perfect. Winning Streak. And I've got that code VXFLG2. I'll pop it in the notes somewhere as well. Craig,
and in the when you go to the Apple store, the Android store, it's a purple square with a white W in the middle.
Purple square with a white W in the middle. Cool. All right, I'm going to check that out. Craig, you're amazing. I'm just mindful of your time because I know you've got to shoot off. I just want to say thank you. I messaged you, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, and I must have commented on your videos and maybe told you one of my struggles that I was having. And there was one thing you said back to me that has just kind of stuck with me ever since. And I share it with my clients. And you said to me, keep getting better every day. And it was just that little sentence is just like so simple, but that's just such a game changer for me to just keep in my mind, keep getting better every day. And it's something I share with my.
I mean, and that's the thing with the 15 minutes, 15 minutes in the morning on working on your number 1 priority, like 15 minutes is getting better every single day. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I had an entire day planned out for personal development. No, 15 minutes. Let's go 15 minutes every single day. And, your life is going to change.
Yeah. 15 minutes, guys. Let's go. And I think that's about the length of this episode of the podcast, and a powerful 15 minutes it has been, and a very valuable 15 minutes.
Amazing.
Mr. Craig Ballantyne, thank you so much for being a guest on the 1% podcast. I really appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. I love your work. And I hope to catch up with you soon. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
No worries. Take care.